Greetings and salutations, Raptors fans. Akil Augustine with a very happy episode of Raptors today because the streak is over.
We got
the dub. Although I have been very satisfied with the brand of basketball the Raptors have been playing, just not the result. Ward, Paul Jones, Akil Augustine, breaking it down. I'll start with you, Warren. I want to talk about this Pacers team a little later because I still don't understand what's happening with them, and I want to get you guys' insight. But let's first off talk about the giant win that Toronto Raptors have. Fourth quarters have been an issue. We saw this Pacers team kind of find some life. But what do the Raptors do to kind of stem the tide and change the narrative around them closing games?
Well, that's just it, closing out games. And the Raptors have notoriously this season, I say, beat themselves. Missed free throws, 10 turnovers in that third quarter alone against the Pacers. So you're doing things that are allowing teams to essentially get back in the game.
And they were doing better with the turnovers over the last couple.
They have, but a lot of them are
23
careless, and it's when, right? If you have 13 turnovers or 10 turnovers, and you have 10 and a quarter, you know, you're essentially giving a team like a massive Black Friday sale. You're just saying, here, come shopping, you know, and it's like you're being careless, and that you can't do at this level. And for a young team especially, you do not want to make those kind of mistakes. And they've been doing it time and time again. So I have said so far the Raptors are better than their record, but also they shoot themselves in the foot by doing things that are in their control. And it's the unforced errors that are causing them to have leads, lose them, or essentially be trying to catch up to a team the entire game.
The tough part of the unforced errors, and I see the same thing as Warren does, they seem to be strung together.
Yeah, I know.
There's not just one.
Right. It's like four.
There's like four.
Yeah. So you look at the box score and you're like, oh, that number doesn't look too bad. But then you look at the timing of when that number happens.
One guy turns it over, then the other team scores, and they come down on the next trip.
Yep.
And somebody else turns it over the same way. Like, you know, you're on the elbow and you're trying to pass it to a corner, and there's a guy in the passing lane. He's just waiting for the ball to be in the air and grabs it. Like, they string them together, and that's the issue that, for me, that they're fighting. Listen, with the style of ball that they play, it's free flowing. They want the ball over center in 3 seconds. They want a shot. And I get that.
Moving.
I get that. And I always say it in baseball, home run hitters strike out.
Yeah.
If you're going to play fast in the NBA, you are going to have turnovers. But just be careful about where and when and the succession of them.
So speaking about that, this Pacers team is a team last year, start of the year, legendary pace. They were on pace to be the greatest offense in the history of the league. Obviously, those numbers scaled down and came back. Now, this little hyperbole, it's a little bit me being a TV host, but are they the Hawks of a couple of years ago? Because they made big noise in the playoffs that we had them pegged for success. And all of a sudden, it seems like the shore has eroded. Jonesy, I'll start with you. And this Pacers team, it doesn't look like things.
It doesn't, because right now, one of their main cogs is not playing as well as he has. No, Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, go.
And he's the guy that, now, like, can you expect a guy to have a career year every year? No. But when you put the bar up here for some modicum of consistency, if the bar is here, you at least kind of want to be here. If this is career year, you want to be here. Right now, I feel like he's down here, and he's not.
What is it? What's happening?
I don't know. It's
I think
early.
he lost his confidence during the summer. I think he realized
with Team USA when he didn't crack the roster.
I think I think he saw, like, oh, I'm one of the best players in the world. I'm on this team, and I'm not one of the best. And I think he lost a bit of his confidence.
And it's weird that normally when we talk about a guy getting an opportunity to join an elite group of athletes like that, they come back, whether or not they played with them or played well, with kind of like, oh, that's where I should be at.
Right. Yeah.
And you're saying this is the opposite of that situation.
But then you go there and you realize I'm not one of them. And maybe that's what I see.
Interesting.
How do you have the year he had last year and the pace they played at and the playmaking ability, and then to go all of a sudden and to essentially not have any of that this year? Yesterday they called a timeout. The Raptors turned the ball over like 3 straight possessions. Shed, Davion Mitchell, RJ Barrett. The Pacers turned it over twice. There was 5 turnovers in the span of like 2 minutes. Halliburton missed open threes, sat on the coach called a timeout. He goes and sits down on the bench and punches the seat. You mean to tell me you're that frustrated this early on already?
It's
deep-rooted.
But I think part of that too, Warren, is it is early, and maybe he thought about the gravity of what happened last year. Hey, we made it to the conference finals, and now you sit back and you think about it. You go, wow, That was a big accomplishment.
Well,
can we do that again?
Well, they're in trouble, and you talked about career year, but let's pivot to RJ because we got to give props to the kid. Listen, second half last year could have been considered a career year, but now you're looking at this guy, and we have to broaden the scope of the conversation, I think, with RJ, because everyone pretty much said this is Scotty's team, and, we got RJ in the wings, but people didn't often give RJ the respect that he seems to be forcing us to give him right now.
Well, for some of the recency bias, yes. But if you've been watching RJ, he's done this before at different levels in different places.
But the fourth quarter last
he
night,
comes again, I keep harping on this. He comes to New York, and they're like, okay, hang on to that playmaking. Just stand over there till it's your turn. And even in Toronto, being Scotty's team, he was able to help and do some of it, but now he's just being given more responsibility, and you're seeing more of it. Like, he's a very capable all-round player. And
you talk about all-round. We know about certain aspects, but the passing right now, like straight.
It's opportunity,
before,
right?
Is that 4 10-assist games now?
Akil, if we were playing men's league and there was no one else and you had to do it all, you would do this. Like, it's opportunity. He's been given.
But the difference between me and RJ is my turnovers would have gone way up.
Maybe, but that's okay though. That's a risk. That's a risk willing to take. I just think this kid has been given an opportunity now. Like last year in 32 games, 26-5. Yeah. Very capable.
Yes.
And you have one hand too.
Yes.
He doesn't use his right hand. He goes left and extreme left. That's as Jonesy would say.
And Scotty was out, so you were high on the scouting report.
The only thing I think RJ needs to do that is maybe for me to put him in the elite category is his decision making at the end of quarters. Because last night he was given the ball at the end of the
He had 5 turnovers last night.
And he's not making a play. He may take a shot, which is good. You want him to shoot, but it's like, you need to make a play in those, and that is what elite players do.
That's the learning curve.
That is the learning.
Quickly, Jonesy, we got to get to
and that's what I would say.
Everything else he's good at.
Everything else, continue to be put in those situations where you can learn and improve at the end of the quarter, at the end of the game. Because I don't think his decision-making has been terrible.
No.
But I think it can improve.
All right, it's time to check in with RJ. Let's see if Grange and Samson folk grill him too hard after that win.
Feels great to get a win. Feels great. We earned that one for sure. We earned that one, and obviously they're a team that can put up a lot of points. But I think we were able to weather the storm and play well. And guys are just across the board play well. Shout out Garrett Temple coming in, old head, making some plays. Shout out to the old guy.
Darko was in here earlier and saying that he was on Yak all summer to play with more force. Don't be afraid to dunk the ball, those kind of things. You didn't play a ton with him last year, but are you seeing more of that this year? That he's playing with more force?
What you been seeing?
Sorry?
What have you been seeing? Because I see monsters. What have you been seeing?
You had a nice dunk tonight.
Yak he's going crazy right now. And I said it earlier, we don't get this win without Yak. We're not in a lot of these games without Yak, So he's been huge for us, and we definitely 100% need him.
The performance you're getting out of Jakob, he's been very good all season, but this last 10 days has been exceptional. Is it something that you can kind of begin to depend on in terms of his offensive contribution? Is it something you're
I think what they're doing over here really well is team is finding him. He's playing really well in pick and rolls. He's getting better in reading when defense is going over and under and finding his pocket pass. And he's been, as you can see, he's playing with more force going downhill and trying to dunk some of those situations. That's a testament to his work. That's the testament that everything that he did over the course of the summer. And if he continues like this, we're going to have another all-star player.
Big Yak, or you guys heard the chants, right? It was Yak, Yak, Yak. That was the first time I heard that.
No, I didn't hear that. I call him Jakob Duncan.
Jakob Duncan. Okay, I like it. Jakob Poeltl, Toronto Raptors center, on a career stretch, 3 games, 90 points. The numbers are up. Jake, put the numbers up for young Jakob Poeltl. He's been absolutely killing it for this Raptors squad. Let's talk about why he's been so effective, Jonesy, our basketballologist, over the last stretch. Because off air we're talking about his dribble game isn't there. Not a traditional back to the basket scorer, but putting up numbers right now.
He understands how to play. He understands how to play. He understands his strengths, and he plays to them. Rebounding, right? He catches the ball in the lane. You're not going to see it like a whole series or package of moves. Oh, you're standing on the left? Okay, I'll go to the right. His decision making and his smarts, you know.
Him and IQ got the killer push shot.
Well, he gets close to the basket, and it's old fashioned. He finishes. A lot of guys get close to the basket and they panic, or they're looking for a shot blocker. He's like, well, here it is. It's going in, or I'm going to miss. But no, I'm not going to change it because somebody might block it.
So it's weird because Yak being on this team is a point of contention for some fans because there were people who believed the Raptors shouldn't have gone out and done that move at that point in time. But now you look at what's happening with this group. How do you contextualize his presence knowing that this group needs him? Like, it's evident that a true 7-foot presence in the key is allowing for a lot of the positives you're seeing in player development to happen because he holds down a peg Warren that's needed in the NBA offense.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, what this guy does well, for me at least, is he screens the ball well. And as a big man, if
you heard
I'm
RJ in the press conference, Yak screens.
He screens very, very well. He keeps the ball high, so he's not getting tripped very often, and he finds himself in the right position to offensive rebound, defensive rebound, and he doesn't really have many post moves, but he finds himself in the right position, and that's a skill. Not to mention his motor. If you watch him run first big, he's baseline to baseline, and he makes the defense drop to the foul line or below, and that allows quickly in the guards to actually flourish. So his value is not just in points. I think the points are a byproduct of his effort, and his effort just to do this.
I love his passing. I love his decision making.
I didn't even talk about that.
You know, when they get the ball to him at the elbow or just off the elbow, with the way the spacing is now and the way the Raptors move, you think about cutting by Grady and Ochai and these people. He waits.
Yeah.
And he delivers the ball at the right time.
And his positioning, too, because if he was down in the lower key area, those angles wouldn't be available.
He comes out to spread the floor, to space the floor, and he does not have a lot of turnovers for a guy that handles the ball that much and making those kinds of passes.
Big Yak, it's your moment. Why don't you speak to the media?
Starting with the Detroit game, even if you weren't right at the rim, it really seemed like, 10 feet, the little push shot, the little floater, you were ready to take it. Is that sort of the rhythm you're talking about? Like once you get comfortable with like a layup, it's easier to start taking those?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked that shot. I work on that shot a lot. I think the biggest difference right now is and it kind of started with Davion, to be honest. Like he was really looking for me in those situations to get to my floater there, get a rhythm going, and then it kind of carried over to a couple other guys. Like it's been really good with RJ lately, where our two-man game has been great, where they attack the paint hard, and then I kind of get to step in behind and get to my shot there, and I still have the ability to read the play out of it. If I feel like the defense is sinking in, I can make a continuous play out of it.
Has it been really nice to play with two guys who really value that pass and see you?
Yeah, of course. Like it helps me a lot, and I think it helps them in exchange. Like if we get the defense to second guess constantly, like not knowing, like they're worried about a roller, then like we're getting other things out of it. We're getting the weak side open. They're getting their own shots more easily. So I think developing that and like really being a threat there, a two-way threat, like the handler and the roller, is huge for us.
I'm TJ Ford, and you're watching the Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Works right into the lane, puts it up and in! TJ runs away, fades, fires,